Alright, so now we will be discussing question 13 to question 16. Now these are club questions, so these are, you can say case study because we are going to study this statement under different conditions, right? So it is a case study question. So let's begin with 13th question, but first and foremost, let's read the statement given at the beginning, right? Now he says that A, B, C be positive integers, okay, got it. And these are such positive integers such that A divides B cube, B divides C cube, and C divides A cube. So all these three integers are very intimately related, right? Now using these conditions, I need to answer the following questions. So let's read question number 30. He says that if A is 35, then prove prime factors of number B is 5 and 7 only. Prime factors. That means in the prime factorization of B, I should have just the factors of 5 and just the factor of 7. Right? We don't know. But the prime factors should be these two only. We cannot have a prime factor, suppose say 3. That cannot be there. It will just have the prime factors 5 and 7. This I need to prove. Right? And also the prime factors of number C. Again, in the prime factorization of number C, I should just have the prime factors 5 and 7. No other prime factor is available. Right? Whatever the powers may be. We don't care about it. Okay. So I have understood the statement that I have to prove. Now definitely since he is talking about the prime factorization, let me just prime factorize this. So I know that A is equal to 5 into 7. Right? Okay. Now first condition that A divides B cube. Right now, A is nothing but 5 into 7. So, 5 into 7 divides B cube. Now, definitely, in the prime factorization of B cube, I will have 5. Because 5 divides B cube, right? So, that means 5 divides B cube. And I can say that 5 must divide B. B cube की prime factorization में 5 आ रहा है. Definitely, B की prime factorization में 5 आएगा. Right? Okay. Now, similarly, 7 will divide B cube. And 7 will divide B. Now 5 divides B, 7 divides B. That means definitely 5 into 7 divides B. In the prime factorization of B, I have 5 and 7. Right? Okay. Right. So I have concluded something. 5 and 7 to I have to make sure that no other prime factor comes. Okay. Let's analyze it further. Now next let's study C divides A cube. Let's study that because we need to talk about C as well. Now C divides. Now A cube to pata hai. This is A is 5 into 7. So A cube is 5 cube into 7 cube. Right? Now C divides this number. Right? That means C should have the prime factor of 5. Do we understand this? C should have the prime factor of 5. So can I say that 5 divides C? Of course. Then in the prime factorization of C, I should have 7 as well. तभी तो divide करेगा, right? So that means 7 divides C as well. So 5 into 7 divides C. Okay. Now what? Now I have to make sure that there are no other factors except for 5 and 7 over here. Now be careful. C में कोई और other prime factor हो सकता? अगर suppose यहाँ पे prime factor 3 है, right? यहाँ पे तो prime factor 3 नहीं है. If there is a prime factor 3 over here, यहाँ पे नहीं है, so how will this number divide this number? This divides this. That means all of these factors have to be present over here. No other factor except for these will be here. Right? अगर यहाँ पे 3 है, यहाँ पे नहीं है, वो exactly divisible नहीं होगा. Right? So that means C should not have any other prime factor except for 5 and 7. There might be different parts like 5 raised power 2 हो सकता है, 7 raised power 3 हो सकता है. That is absolutely fine. But the prime factors will remain 5 and 7 only. Right? This we have concluded about C. Right? Okay. Now second was B divides C cube. Right? Now I know that in the prime factorization of C, I just have 5 and 7. Right? 5 raised power something, 7 raised power something, we don't care. Right? Now, here, let's talk about B. Just the prime factors of 5 and 7 are present over here. That means 5 has to be present, that we already know. 7 has to be present, already know. But The question was, can there be another prime factor in B? No, it can't be. Because if there is, suppose you have prime factor 3 है, there is not prime factor 3 over here, so exactly divisible नहीं रहेगा, and that will be a problem. Since B exactly divides C cube, I can say that B also should have the prime factors of 5 and 7 only. There might be different parts, we understand it, but the prime factors will remain the same. So this is a very peculiar observation that A divides B cube, C divides C cube, B divides C cube, C divides A cube. Under this condition, if I give you a number A, whose prime factorization is 5 into 7, I have proven, for this case at least, that B will also have only the factors of 5 and 7, as well as C. That means all A, B and C have the same prime factors. A very peculiar observation. That is not the question, but just an observation. Right. Now, let's move on to question number 14. Let's read it. Again, it is a related question, so of course, keep all these things in mind. Case study means that the questions are interrelated. Or might even not be actually. Question number 14. Right. If A is equal to 49, then I want the maximum value of ABC, of the product ABC. Right? Now, if I want the maximum value, I know that A, B and C are positive integers. अब इसकी maximum value चाहिए. Obviously, it will occur when A is maximum, when B is maximum, and when C is maximum. When all three are maximum, I can say I have achieved the maximum value of A, B and C. ABC. Right? Okay, so I am interested in the maximum value of B and C. Q? Because the value of A is already given. That means you just need the maximum value of B and maximum value of C. Okay. Now, A prime factors, let's do that. So, A is 7 square. Right? Okay. Now, first condition, A divides B cube. Right? That means 7 square divides B cube. Now, can I say that 7 divides B cube? Definitely. That means 7 must divide B. Okay? Then that means I can say that B is of the form 7k. K kahin involve ho raha hai? No. 7k. Where k is obviously a positive integer. Okay? Now, the second one. B divides C cube. B divides C cube. Now, B is nothing but 7k form. So, 7k divides C cube. So, that means I can say that 7 divides C cube. Or I can say that 7 divides C. Done? Simple divisibility. This. These are all very logical steps which apparently you like. I don't understand why, but okay. Right. So, that means C is of the form 7. K ke baad kya aata hai? L. 7L, where L is definitely a positive integer. Great. Got it. And then C divides A cube, though that means 7L divides A cube, which will obviously be the case. Because A we know is 7 square. Right? But मुझे क्या चाहिए था? Maximum value. Maximum value of B and maximum value of C. I need this. Right? Okay. अब maximum value C निकालने की try करते हैं सबसे पहले. Maximum value. Right? Now C is this. Now if I can find the maximum value of L, मुझे maximum value of C पता चल जाएगी. Right? So let's see. Now I know that 7L divides A cube. So 7L divides 7 square cube. So 7 raised to power 6. I want the maximum value of L. Now maximum value of L. Can you tell me what that is? डिवाइड होना चाहिए राइट. अब L को 7 raised to power 1 ले सकते हैं, 7 raised to power 2, 7 raised to power 3, 7 raised to power 4, 7 raised to power 5, 7 raised to power 6. How can I take it to be 7 raised to power 6? 7 raised to power 7 बन जाएगा. Be careful. So maximum value of L that I can accommodate, that is what? L can be 7 raised to power 5. Maximum value of L. Right? That means maximum value of C is 7 into L. So 7 into 7 raised to power 5. So that is 7 raised to power 6. Done? Okay. At least ये तो मिल गया. अब I need the maximum value of B. B कहाँ पर है? B यहाँ पे involve हो रहा था, right? Now I know that 7k divides C cube. अब C cube की maximum value आ चुकी है मेरे पास 7 raised to power 6. Right? So 7k must divide 7 raised to power 6 cube. Or I can say 7k must divide 7 raised to power 18. Now I want the maximum value of what? I want the maximum value of B, right? So can I take the maximum value of k first? Let's take the maximum value of k. Now can you tell me the maximum value of k over here? Come on, just look at it. I want this to be maximum. So I can take maximum value of k to be 7 raised to power 17. Now the maximum value of B will be 7 into 7 raised to power 17, which is 7 raised to power 18. Of B is 7 raised to power 18. Then I have a maximum value of C, I have maximum value of B, I already know what A is, so that's it. Maximum value of ABC निकालते हैं, कहाँ पे निकालें? यहाँ पे. So which is 7 square into 7 raised to power 18 into 7 raised to power 6, which is 7 raised to power 26, which is your answer. Done? Okay. Now let's move on to question number 15. Just read it and try to do it yourself because the same thing will happen. So let's see whether you can do it or not. Come on, read it and do the question. Similar line, that's it. Whatever you've learned, just apply it. Right. Question number 15. A is 72. 72 is 8 into 9 now. So 2 cube into 3 square. Right? Okay. Now I want the maximum value of ABC. Right? Again, what I'll try to do is I'll get the maximum value of B and I'll get the maximum value of C. That's my aim. Done? Okay, so I understand that. Now, let's start. Now, A divides B cube. A divides B cube. That means 2 cube into 3 square will definitely divide B cube. Right? So, a B cube की prime factorization में 2 cube आ रहा है. Definitely 2 will be there in the prime factorization of B. So, 2 will divide B and I can say that 3 will divide B. Right? That means I can say 2 into 3 will divide B. Done? Okay. So that means B is of the form 2 into 3 into K, or I can directly say 6K. Right? 6K. Done? Okay. Now let's talk about C divides A cube. C divides A cube. Now C divides A cube is 2 cube into 3 square cube. Cube. So that means C divides 2 raised to power 9 into 3 raised to power 6. Right? Okay. Now from here definitely I can say that 2 divides C and 3 divides C. Again 2 into 3 divides C, or I can say that C is of the form 6L. Right? Okay. Now the thing is I want the maximum value of C. Maximum value of C. That means I want the maximum value of L. Maximum value of L निकालना है. अब यहाँ पे देखें. Let's study this. Now C we have got that it is 6L and it divides 2 raised to power 9 into 3 raised to power 6. I want the maximum value of L. So 6 को पहले लिख लेते हैं 2 into 3 so that I can better see it. Now maximum value of L. Can you tell me? Maximum value of L will be 2 raised to power 8. Because यहाँ पे 2 है, ये 2 raised to power 9 है. Obviously, I want यहाँ पे 2 raised to power 9 बन जाए. So यहाँ पे 2 raised to power 8 into 3, यहाँ पे 3 raised to power 6. That means 3 raised to power 5. So maximum value of L is this. But I want the maximum value of C. So maximum value of C is अब 2 into 3 से multiply. So 2 raised to power 9 into 3 raised to power 6. right? This is the maximum value of C. Now, I want the maximum value of B as well. That means maximum value of K. अब यूटिलाइज करते हैं, कौन सी कंडीशन यूटिलाइज देंगे? हाँ, B डिवाइड C क्यूब वाली, राइट? तो B डिवाइड, so 6K डिवाइड C क्यूब. अब maximum value of C cube is 2 raised to power 9 into 3 raised to power 6. और इसका क्यूब करना है. How can you forget that? Right? So 6K divides 2 raised to power 27 into 3 raised to power 18. So from here, can I say the maximum value of K? I think it is pretty clear now. So let me write 6 first as 2 into 3 so that we can better see it. 2 into 3. And यहाँ पे 2 raised to power 27 है. That means it should be 2 raised to power 26 into 3 raised to power 17. Right? Now, I want the maximum value of B. So multiply by 6. So maximum value of B is 2 raised to power 27 into 3 raised to power 18. Done. Right? So maximum value निकाल लेते हैं ABC की. Now our problem is solved now. So A is 2 cube into 3 square. Maximum value is B is 2 raised to power 27 into 3 raised to power 18 into 2 raised to power 9 into 3 raised to power 6. So this becomes 2 raised to power, this is what, 36, है ना? 27 plus 9, 36 होता है. 36 plus 3, 39, and this is 20 and 3 raised to power 26. This is the maximum value of ABC, then A is equal to this. Done? Okay. Now, let's move on to the 16th question, which is, I would say, the most interesting question of the worksheet, definitely. And actually, this came in the RMO 2012. So now you'll understand actually the topic of the chapter, which is, well, you can read it. So question number 16. 16? 15. Okay. Question number 16. Read it. It's a beautiful question. Right. Alright, so question number 16 now. Okay, he says, prove that. Question number 16, prove that ABC divides A plus B plus C whole cube. So, A plus B plus C raised to power 13. Right, okay, so I need to prove this. Now, in the previous questions, what have we been talking about? We have been talking about ABC. But we have been talking about the maximum value of ABC. Okay, why though? And now, suddenly in this question, I need to prove that ABC divides this quantity. Now, ABC needs to divide this quantity always. That I need to prove. In each and every case, no matter what the value of A, B and C is, satisfying this condition, this should divide this. That must statement is there. So how should I proceed? And we have been talking about maximum value. Now tell me, if somehow I can say the maximum value of ABC, if I say that maximum value of ABC divides A plus B plus C raised to power 13, do you think my job will be done? Because till now we have been talking about, not about ABC, we have been talking about the maximum value of ABC, right? So if I am able to prove the maximum value divides, can't I say that anything lower than this, lower than the maximum value will definitely divide it, right? A maximum value को prove कर देती हूँ that it divides this thing, right? So I have reduced my question, I have not reduced, I have modified my question to this. I will prove that whatever the maximum value of ABC is, it will definitely divide this quantity. Right? Okay. Now, before we go on to ABC, we have to talk about A and B and C. So, suppose, let's talk about A first, and suppose it has a prime factor P raised power something, so raised power X. and it will have another prime factor which we can write, but for the sake of beginning the question, I'm just writing just one prime factor right now. Right? Now the question arises, do you think that this prime factor P will be there in B? And will it be there in C? I have to check that. Even though yes, intuitively we know what is the answer, but still we'll just check it once. Right? Now A have the prime factor P raised by X. It has the prime factor P raised by X. Right? So first thing is A divides B cube. Right? So that means P raised by X divides B cube. Now in the prime factorization of B cube, P is coming. So definitely P will divide P. Right? So P यहाँ पे भी था, P यहाँ पे भी होगा. In fact, इसकी कोई पार होगी, so let that be Y. Right? Into something, whatever. Abhi we are just talking about P. Now tell me, will P be present over here? Of course it will be, because I know that C divides A cube. So C divides, so we are just talking about the prime factor P, so P raised by 3x. So that means in the prime factorization of C, I should have P. Right? So I will have P. So let that be P raised by Z. Right? Then you can consider the second prime factor. It will be present over here as well. Then the third one, it will be present here, present here, present here. In fact, I can say that symmetrically, the prime factors of A, B and C will be the same. Whatever the prime factors are there in A will only be the prime factors in B and will only be the prime factors C. All these three will have the same prime factors. Yeah, their powers might be different, but the prime factors will remain the same. Now suppose if this has 2, 3, 5, it will only have 2, 3, 5. It cannot have 7. And similarly, it can only have 2, 3, 5. It cannot have 13. Right? So this I have shown in the general case. पहले हमने वो specific case में किया था, but now it's in the general case. Okay, so we understand that. Right? So whatever the other might be, we are not concerned, because we are usually concerned about just one prime factor, because we can extend it. Right? So I have talked about A, B and C, but what I am interested in? I am interested in ABC, but to be more precise, I am interested in the maximum value of ABC. Okay, right. Now let's start the question. Let's see. The condition is A divides B cube. Right? A divides B cube. Now A has P of X. Right? Now some of you, let me just clarify before I go on further. Some of you say, ma'am, can it be here the power, can it be less than X? Right? It might be X minus 1 or X minus 2. Now the thing is, here X is the variable, so I am assuming that this is the maximum power of P in here. Right? Similarly, Y is the maximum power of P in here and Z is the maximum value of P in here. Right? So I've clarified that. Also, I am starting with the condition A divides B cube. So I am assuming that X, the power of P in A, is the minimum one. I am assuming that the power of P in A is minimum. Or basically I am saying that X is minimum out of X, Y and Z. Because I have to start from somewhere, right? Some bar might be, it has to be minimum, right? Out of the three numbers, something has to be the minimum quantity. It can be X, it can be Y, it can be Z. But for the sake of using the arbitrariness, I can say that X is the minimum one, right? Because I have to start from here. Alright, now A divides B cube. That means P raised by X divides B cube. Right? Definitely, I pointed out P divides B. Right? That means B is of the form, what? P into something. Let that be K. Right? Now the thing is, I am interested in the maximum value of P. That means I am interested in the maximum value of K. Okay, so I know my aims. What are they? Right? Okay, next thing. Next thing is C divides A cube. Right? C divides A cube. अब C के बारे में मुझे कुछ नहीं पता, but still C divides A के बारे में मुझे पता है. That is P raised by X into something. P raised by 3X. I'm just talking about the prime factor P right now. Just one prime factor I have taken. I'll be able to analyze it. Right? So C divides P raised by 3X. Definitely in the prime factorization of C, I should have P. So that means I can say that P divides C, right? And I can say that C is of the form P into something, so let that be L, right? Okay, now I have to start. So maximum value of C, that means maximum value of L. Okay, this I have to be very careful about. Now, यहाँ पे देखें ये PL है, so PL divides, अब यहाँ पे था A cube, right? A cube, or I can say PL divides P raised power 3x. Now, I want the maximum value of L, right? The maximum value of L, can you tell me what that is? यहाँ पे P है, यहाँ पे P raised power 3x है. So that means L, maximum value of L, it should be P raised power 3x minus 1, right? So that means P into P raised power 3x minus 1, that will give me the maximum value of C, which is P raised power 3x. Done? मुझे C की the maximum value मिल गई. Perfect. Now the next one, let's find the maximum value of B. Now I know that B divides C cube. That means B divides what? ये कहाँ था? C यहाँ पर है. So P cube L cube. Right? In fact, since I want the maximum value of B, यहाँ पे मैं C की maximum value रख देती हूँ. So let that be P raised power 3x. It is the cube of it. So I can say that B divides P raised power 9x. Right? Now B is nothing but Pk. So Pk divides P raised power 9x. Now the maximum value of K. Now maximum value of K, what that will be? Maximum value of K will be P raised power, अब यहाँ पे P है, यहाँ पे P raised power 9x है. The maximum value that should be P raised power 9x minus 1. So that means the maximum value of P that I can easily write now, that is P raised power 9x minus 1 into P, which is P raised power 9x. Right? Okay. Now I want the maximum value for A, B, C. अब देखिए maximum value. अब maximum value लिख लेते हैं. Maximum value of A, B, C. Right? Now A is what? Like the prime factors की बात करें, so P raised power x into B has the prime factor P raised power 9x into P raised power 3x. Right? So this is nothing but P raised power 13x. The maximum value of ABC. In fact, I should not write this. I should say the maximum value of P in the product ABC. Because अभी तक हमने सिर्फ इसकी निकाली है maximum value. अभी बाकी prime factors भी हैं. Suppose यहाँ पे Q भी होगा. There will be R as well. But that is not an issue. Right. So maximum value of P in the product ABC is P raised power 13x. Right. Now similarly, I can say, I will erase this, of course. On the same line, so P raised power 13x is the maximum part of the first one, right? Second one, it might be Q raised power. अब मुझे कोई और variable चाहिए. Y नहीं ले सकती, Z नहीं ले सकती. उसके बाद Q raised power 13u. On the similar lines, you can prove it into so on, right? But मुझे prove करना है maximum value for ABC divide A plus B plus C raised power 13. Now, A plus B plus C. अब check करें. A plus B plus C. अब C यहाँ पे भी है, P यहाँ पे भी है, P यहाँ पे भी है. Don't you think when I add the three, P can be taken out? At least P तो common आएगा, right? Whatever. यहाँ पे P raised power 1 हो सकता है, P square हो सकता है, P raised power 7 हो सकता है. At least P will be common out, right? P raised power 1. Right? So A plus B plus C should have a factor of P. Right? Or I can say P divides A plus B plus C. That is common sense. Right? That means यहाँ पे raised power 13 था, so P must divide P raised power 13 must divide A plus B plus C raised power 13. Done? On similar lines, I can say that Q raised power 13 यहाँ पे x था ना, हाँ P raised power x करना चाहिए था, because मैंने मिनिमम पावर यहाँ पे ली थी P raised power x, right? 1 नहीं ली थी, वो मैं तुम्हें समझा रही थी. P raised power x ली थी, so that's why P raised power x common. और यहाँ पे अब जब मैं यहाँ पे u ले रही हूँ, so I'm assuming that's the minimum power. So yeah, So similarly, q raised power 13u should divide a plus b plus c raised power 13, and so on. If I multiply all these, right, what will I get? I will get the maximum value of ABC, because I'm multiplying it, should divide a plus b plus c raised power 13. क्यों? Don't we do this? 5 divides A, 7 divides A, because obviously these are separate prime factors. I can say that 5 into 7 divides A. So P raised power 13x divides this, Q raised power 13U divides this. Obviously, if I multiply all of this will divide it. Right? So maximum value, okay. Our maximum value divide kariye, so definitely ABC will itself divide A plus B plus C raised power 13. Which is what we have to prove, right? So I would say that was pretty enjoyable. That was actually quite interesting. So, when you look at the question, when you read the question, you get to know, this has to be somewhere. This question has to be some test, which is incredible, right? So this is the kind of question which you'll get in RMO. But for that, first you need to clear the RMO, which is there on Sunday. So please, whatever time you have, work hard, do the previous year question papers, do the assignments, complete it, get through the first round so that in the second round you can study all of this. Because this is incredibly interesting and this actually is the real math, which is the prettiest thing ever. Right? Okay, so that's it. I really hope you enjoyed the questions because this was quite fun. So thank you. I will